Right, so I had an interesting question and I felt like I needed to ask my community, so I asked my community what update in Genshin Impact do they think was the best update in the game. And with a mix of varying results, one of them was very dominant over everything else though, but a couple of results might actually shock you on what they thought was the best update, so we're going to discuss it today and see what everyone was thinking. And if you don't want to miss out on another event like this, because I'm currently doing one as well for the most popular character in Genshin Impact, you can always feel free to subscribe so you don't miss a community post. Only 4.3% of people watching my videos are subscribed, and if you're new to the channel or you're just stopping by for the first time, or you come back for a while, we do daily Genshin Impact guides, discussions, news, anything in between. We do a bit of streams every now and then, but I didn't stream today because I broke my headset and, well, I kind of suck, so I'm currently holding my mic together right now, so I'll probably stream when I get the headset back, when I get a new one. But let's get into it. So obviously we've had 4 updates in the game. We've had version 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and 1.4. No introduction there. We're in the 1.4 update right now, and so I asked people what they thought. And interestingly, what people thought wasn't the version that came the last place, so the one that was voted the least, what people didn't think was the best update, was version 1.1. Now, that interests me a little bit, because 1.1 I thought was quite a big update. It brought Child and Zhongli to the game. It brought Diona Xinyan. It brought the conclusion to the Liwei story. Child as a weekly boss. Of course, the Liwei story was brilliant. It brought maybe as well. It just a few fun and interesting events, but interestingly, it placed the lowest on this poll, and that kind of surprised me because I thought version 1.0 might have placed lower. But interestingly enough, as well, is that the 1.1 event also added the first story section in the game as well, adding Scaramouche, which is one of the Fatui Harbingers for Inazuma, and the Mona quest with Official. That was a lovely quest. They got a nice mouse out of it as well, but that's quite interesting. But next up is the 1.0 update. So this is the first release of Genshin Impact, and of course this added the base 20 characters. I think it's 20 or 21. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head how many characters there were on release. But it added obviously Mondstadt, Inazuma, well not Inazuma. It added Mondstadt and Liwei. It also added most of the quest line for the main story up until now, and yeah, there wasn't too much going on. It added, 2 battles with Venti and Klee. It wasn't exactly a whole lot going on in 1.0, but I guess people placed it higher, about 4% of the votes, because it was the first update for the game. It was the big, hurrah, the big release of the game. Everyone was exploring. Maybe people might have some nostalgia for it because obviously, people were just learning about the game at the time. There was new things to explore around the corner. It was very fun. Of course, I think 1.0, some people put it, quite high in their heads, and I respect that. That's pretty cool to think like that. But interestingly enough, the next update, a whole 10% of my votes, was the version 1.3, the Liwei Festival. Now, obviously, say what you want about the Liwei Festival. It had some good parts and it had some bad parts. Now, the bad parts personally was maybe we does a bit too many fetch quests, but a lot of people really loved stuff like the Theatre Mechanicus, maybe the whole story. They also added part of the Dance Leaf chapter in that update as well, which was a lot of fun. And there was a couple other events, if I can remember off the top of my head. There was also the GeoVishap event. There was some little things going on, but we mainly got Hu Tao and we got Zhao in that update. So obviously, I feel like people did like the update for that, and that's pretty cool. But interestingly enough as well, at 20% of the votes, which is kind of crazy, 1.4 is actually the most liked well, not most liked, but 1.4 is the second most liked update for Genshin Impact. Now, of course, 1.4 has just gone live now. It only brings one new character, which is Rosaria, but it did add this whole Invitational Windbloom event. Now, it adds a bunch of mini games. That's about it for the minute. A bunch of mini games and hangout events, which personally I really enjoy. It's a different change of pace from the game. I feel like a lot of people are really enjoying it. Of course, for it to be 20% and be the second most liked update for the game right now, that really says a lot on how well Miyoho did this update, because obviously it's only been out for a few days and people are already loving it, according to this poll. So yeah, that basically sums up the thing. Now, obviously, you're going to know what the #1 most liked update is, because obviously there's only one update that hasn't been said yet, but I mean, I want you to guess why it is. It's obviously, we know at 64% of the votes, it was the 1.2 update for Genshin Impact. Now, obviously 1.2 was a pretty massive update at the time, and it still is to this day. Now, obviously, we can make the guess that Miyoho was working on the 1.2 and Dragonspine just before the game released, because it makes sense. You know, it's a whole new area for us to explore in Mondstadt. It was Dragonspine. It was a massive mountain to explore. There was lots of stuff. There was a lot of free weapons. You got free weapons. You got a new domain. You have the Frostbearing Tree, which I've not finished yet. Please forgive me. We also had 2 new characters. We had Albedo, we had Ganyu, and of course people love both of those characters a lot. They're very popular characters, especially Ganyu over Albedo. Albedo is still pretty popular though, according to my Geopoll, but it was a very, very good update overall. There was a few fun events here and there, but the main bread and butter of the update was the Chalk Prince and the Dragon. Got a free sword, you got Festering Desire, you had no resin events as well, so that really held high with people, because obviously people don't like spending resin on events, and yeah, that basically sums up what updates everyone liked the most. I mean, you probably knew it was 1.2, but it's interesting to see everyone's thoughts. Now, reading some of the comments on this poll, I like to read a couple of them. Somebody said that 1.0 to 1.2 was the best versions, and that the game is lacking content. There's a lot of issues going on. I think I would like to agree a tiny bit of this. Personally, I remember the most from the 1.0 to 1.2 events quite a lot. It was the peak of the game for me. It was when I started playing midway through 1.0, so just before the Klee banner came out, and I remember a lot of the stuff at the time. I remember doing the Mona and Fischl event. I remember doing Chalk Prince and the Dragon. I remember those events a lot more over the Lantern Rite, so I can understand that. I mean, lacking content, I could understand that as well. There isn't too much to do at AR 54, for example. For me, it's basically I log in, I do maybe the event, I do maybe my daily commissions, I do a couple of resin stuff, and then I'm done for the day. So I can understand where they're coming from on that point as well. Even 1.2, somebody else does either 1.2 or 1.4, but 1.4's not been out enough early to judge it. Yeah, I agree with that as well. It's really been out for a few days, but it clearly shows that Miyoho did do it quite well. People liked it enough, and some people also say Dragonspine update was the best. Somebody liked the Lantern Festival. That's very valid. We got a whole new section of the map in 1.2 as well. Yep. Some people joined in 1.3 as well when that update came out. So yeah, if you guys want to participate in more of these, feel free to sub so you get notified whenever I make a community post. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Take care, and I'll see you guys in another video or stream soon. So yeah, take care everyone.